People do lots of things on Howard Street, and from people, because I tell them I live in Howard Street, and they go, oh, we know about that street, they're always having parties, they always have something on their mind, they always got something to do somewhere, and which is good, living on a famous street.
I'm Betty Gray, and I was born in Howard Street at 173, and I've lived there all my life. I've never moved out of it.
There are certain people you see in the street who you know their routine after you've been in the street for a while. Coming home from school, I always meet the same man who I know has dropped his children at school and is on his daily pilgrimage to the bread shop.
I was born in Maglan Road. That's 1918, and I got married in 1939. And from that time on, of course, in 39, I've lived there all my life. I'm Douglas Crofts.
I'm Roy Mason. I live the opposite corner to this pub. It was originally a shop, which my parents kept. Prior to that, my grandparents kept it. Prior to that, it was a corn shop, I believe. I can really remember all the houses had railings outside, because we all had railings, beautiful shaped railings, everything.
Yeah.
Then of course they took it over, ornamental one. Then they took it all away for the war, which I don't think they used a lot of them anyway, but they were all taken down for the war, so everybody ended up with bricks. Yeah, then everybody started to go different, well, as it is now, different walls, different types of things.
When in those days, you could have 4 or 5 foot of snow here. In those days, you don't have it now. And when in the night, in the evening, when there was snow up the grass, the men from here, they used to come dig a trench across the road so they could put a path
to get through
across the road.
When we bought our house, our little house, for £200 a sitting tenant.
That's right.
Yeah, and we had a bathroom in with the help of the council, I think. And all the neighbours wanted to use it, and it was all right. You didn't get paid, but I used to Mr. Advice used to get me to wash her back and all for scrubbing. We didn't get
the watchmaker next door, yeah, there was a watchmaker there.
Yeah, they were queuing up at our house. We wish we hadn't had it in the end. Trevor Jones out of Silver Road, he used to do conjuring tricks. You know, getting a rabbit out of a hat, and we always it was lovely. I mean, that was the only entertainment we had.
Well, that's right.
My name is Solomon and I've lived here since I was 3 years old.
And my name's Sarah and I've lived here since I was 5. Yeah, when I was younger I used to play with my older sister and my brother and a couple of my friends who lived here, and we used to go rollerblading, and we used to do an obstacle course where we'd rollerblade around the block as fast as we could, and we'd spin around this corner quickly and go onto the chain and swing a couple of times, escape past a lamp really quickly and go over the humps and things like that. And we used to play tricks on the streets and stuff to passers-by.
In the street, I'd really like to see a band, a Howard Street band, be formed, and maybe I could be able to be the drummer, hopefully.
I'm Barbara and I live in Howard Street, and I moved there in May '93. I've lived in East Oxford most of my life. I was in Stanley Road before then.
My name's Tess and I lived in Howard Street all my life.
So I started here in the infant school, and I left the junior school in 1951.
If we lived somewhere else, it would be much harder to get to school.
When I took early retirement, I mean, I didn't really get to know many people until we got together to make the to organise the Millennium Street Party, and that got people together. And I know a lot of people since then, and it's been nice to sort of meet all the the different generations. It's a very friendly community spirit, I think, then.
My name is Liaquat Ali, and I've lived in Howard Street ever since 1985. I like living in Howard Street because the amenities are near, the mosque is near, and the co-op is near, and the post office is not very far, just opposite the co-op, next to the co-op. And my main reason for moving from Oxford Road to Howard Street is also the mosque, which I go to regularly with my brothers and my sons. He's got 4 boys and 2 girls, and I got 6 boys and 1 girl. And they make a team and they play nearby the fields there.
My name's Catherine and I've been living in Howard Street for about 9 years. It has kind of puzzled me, why is there a betting shop in the middle of Howard Street? When did that arrive? It looks deeply incongruous. And become very aware of cars driving up, stopping on the double yellow lines while somebody nips in to place a bet. And thinking about it, I don't think I've ever seen anyone come out of the betting shop. It's very strange. I wonder how they disappear into there. The other thing that strikes me is kind of watching the movement in Howard Street, is watching those wrestling with the kind of philosophical dilemma or the moral dilemma as they cycle the wrong way down Howard Street. Is it better or worse to cycle illegally in the road the wrong way, or to cycle on the pavement, which is obviously also illegal, but how people wrestle with that, and whether or not they apologise when they kind of bump into your pram and things like that, but the awful agonies of living in a one-way street.
My name is Daphne. I'm turning 17 in May. I'm turning 18 in May. I've been in England for 1 year and 2 months. I go to Oxford College of Further Education, and I'm from Rwanda. And that is much, much more welcoming than London is, because London people seem to be, everybody's going their own way, and but here's somebody like Marion, for example, because she's the most person that I know on Howard Street, for example. She can knock on the door, say, how are you doing? Are you alright? She finds you in the way and say, hi Daphne, how are you and how are things? And that's good, but you don't find such a thing in London. I mean, everybody minds their own business, but I think Oxford is much more welcoming.
Hi, my name's Sadia Ali. I'm 12 years old and I've been living in Howard Street all my life. What's really cool about living on Howard Street is that I got cousins living opposite and I hang out with them. The community is really, like the streets really, they've got a lot of variety of people living, and that's why it's not really racist. That's a really important thing. The Millennium Party was just outside my house. All my cousins come, including Deba, and we all had a really good time. We went to the kids' party.
On the Millennium Eve, the whole street organised a street party, and what happened was all the community got together, and there was a tent in the middle of the street, and there were tables set out, and everyone ate together and things, which is good. And they had fireworks for the children and things like that, and then they had music playing in the tent until the early hours.
Building on the success of the Millennium Party, the Howard Street project has evolved. A shared allotment, the planning of a community garden, events for children and this video project have all brought people together. And it goes without saying that the Howard Street tradition of street parties will continue.
Keep on with the spirit of inventing new ideas, because I think it's really, it's a very good idea. I mean, you come up with all these things, bringing people together. It's now the video. Who knows, one time we're going to be on the national telly. It would be good. Yeah.